Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track called Still I Rise from an act named ItsChase. And if we switch over to here, we have it on Spotify. Have this track on Spotify, 3 minutes long, 15.5k plays, 15, yep, that's awesome. That's a good amount. This guy's getting some attention. It's great. We're going to listen through this track from. We've got a few singles down here actually. If you like this track today, feel free to go to check out the rest of these songs on his Spotify. We're going to listen through this track from start to finish and hear what we think. Let's go. Okay. It's nice just to have that piano start, like a really simple, clean piano line with the vocal chops, and you can hear ItsChase coming in on those vocal bits there as well. Okay, some reverse takes on the pads. Okay.
Lamborghini dreaming, trying to conquer all these demons. Far from being perfect, still a student and a teacher. Words be like a preacher, you have power when I'm speaking. Turn the doubters to believers, let's go.
It's nice. It's nicely staged. I like having the bass coming with him, articulating himself as a rapper. The flow is really clean, words coming through clearly. And now he's got those lovely hi-hats coming in to continue its development.
Meant for some to understand. Grew up with some bigger plans. The power was always in my hands. Nobody taught us real estate or rent to own and buying land. Spending everything we got to flex on people for the gram. I don't think this what they died for. Risking all those lives. If everybody rich, then who is poor? Waste so much of life trying to fit standards that you can't afford. New generation of slavery, just trying to hide it more. Gotta educate my people, they don't see us all as equal. Can help them to the top and they'll act like they don't see you. Country built off of our struggle, now they act like they don't need you. Try to silence if we speak, doing the best not to believe you.
Damn, we're talking about people spending their money just trying to impress others and becoming slaves to that slaves to flexing, man. It's so true, isn't it? People, genuinely struggle with self-worth and the concept of having enough. I think it's a really cool thing to write a song about.
Still I rise, gon' try to break me down and kill my pride. But all it did was make me stronger deep inside. Fuck the limit, I'm gon' shoot straight past the sky. Walk through hell in all the fire. Still I rise, gon' try to break me down and kill my pride. But all it did was make me stronger deep inside. Fuck the limit, I'm gon' shoot straight past the sky. Walk through hell in all the fire.
Damn. We didn't have a massive change in the way that it was sounding between the verse and the chorus in regards to the instruments. But there was a bit more intensity to that vocal performance. There's dynamic range to the way that the vocals have been recorded and the way that ItsChase is singing, is rapping or, communicating. It makes sense from an emotive perspective. Yeah, it's got a fairly minimalist approach to the overall production arrangement of it that I think works really well in the favor of ItsChase, having a platform to speak his truth.
Killing us all slow. Years of genocide and slavery always shown is deeper than what you know. Can't feel safe in your own home. Never see Tony again, but it's murderer free to roam. Who protecting us like life don't make you stress enough? Struggle to survive, then wonder why it's anger built in us. Culture getting high just to get by. Guess who supply the drugs? White men get called crazy, but a black man labeled as a thug. We can't all have equal rights, we barely having common views. No such thing as common sense, the cards are set to make us lose. Schools don't teach the same lessons, got to see the living proof. It's secrets they won't tell you, boy, don't let them play you like a fool. Ain't living by the same rules, routes that we don't get to choose. Nothing ever changes, cause we all gotta accept the truth. Know it's hard for you to hear, but I need to make it clear these people feel the day. We know the power that we can't possess.
Damn. Talking about Still I Rise, that hook line, struggling with the inequalities that are present, losing someone close to him because of the conditions that he has to live in. It's not fair, man. I mean that genuinely. It's a really terrible situation. ItsChase is talking about these really deep topics in a way that I think is mature and intelligent and well balanced. He sounds very confident. And it's really interesting to listen to him. It makes me want to hear more of his music.
Gonna try to break me down and kill my pride. But all it did was make me stronger deep inside. Fuck the limit, I'm gonna shoot straight past the sky. Walk through hell in all the fire. Still I rise.
I like that line, shoot towards the sky. going through hell and through all the fire to try and get to where he wants to go, despite all the barriers. ItsChase is going to get there. I love that to pieces. I think that's great.
Gonna try to break me down and kill my pride, but all it did was make me stronger deep inside. Fuck the limit, I'm gonna shoot straight past the sky, walk through hell and all the fire.
I'm not really sure what else needs to be said there on behalf of me as a music reviewer. I think everyone watching this can ascertain that this is a well-written and well-produced song. I'll just... As a conclusion, I think this song is about someone who is, carefully and meticulously identified the different difficulties that he and the people around him have experienced in this day and age. Awareness of the people around him struggling to cope with the expectations and their own sort of placement in the world and the social climate. What I like about ItsChase is that he isn't trying to prop himself up on a pedestal as if he's the answer to the situation. He isn't trying to sort of, he's not trying to be the protagonist in the sense that he's more just talking about what he will do regardless of the situation. He's not trying to tell people how they should live their life or anything like that. He's just talking about what's around him in a way that shows an awareness, but also I think it's sensible. It makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people will be able to relate to what he's talking about by virtue of him discussing stuff that they care about, as opposed to him saying, well, I'm better than this or something like that. He's simply discussing his journey as a person who has aspirations, will go through hell and the fire again to get to them. And despite, again, those barriers that I previously spoke of, he's going to get there in the end no matter what. And that's effectively what the song is about. I think the verses and choruses, they serve two different functions, and there's a nice equilibrium between those and a connection there thematically. The structure of it with that verse chorus structure with the instrumental parts at the beginning and end, they allow the vocals to come in nicely and then they close it out, and I think that is a really smart idea. There's some really, really heavy stuff talked about in this song, and I think that having the instrumental outro, even with those vocal chops there, which are a nice additional layer in the upper frequencies, I think it just gives people time to think about what's being said to them, to think about what ItsChase has been rapping about, which I feel is very important. If you overload people too much, it will just be too much and they won't be able to retain everything. As a rapper, I think that ItsChase made the most of the situation with these verses and choruses, again, as I mentioned, by... it was a similar way of him sort of vocalizing and performing. There wasn't a huge amount of change. He didn't go into melodic, clean vocals or anything like that. He kept speaking and rapping throughout. So there was a stylistic consistency there. At the same time, I think that because of the short form factor of the song, even at 3 minutes something, which is quite long compared to a lot of the rap and hip hop I listen to nowadays, it felt short because he was succinct in his messaging. He sounded sincere in what he was talking about. There was a bit of vocal fry at some points, a bit of grit in there, where he was a little bit more sort of a little bit more forward, a little bit more intense. And a contrast with some of the Still I Rise parts at the second half of the hook, would be a little bit quieter, So it's a vocal performance from someone who has a clear understanding of their place in the world, in the industry, and within their own music. And I think that he's at the top of his game. If not, wherever he goes next will be something to watch. And the production, we had bass, drums, piano parts, some synthy sort of marimba stuff going on, some vocal chops, and some other parts that I've either neglected to mention or I may have missed. But I feel like, again, I mentioned it was a minimalist selection. Despite the fact that there's a half dozen elements aside from the vocals, it was stacked so well and so in a way that was considerate of both the listener's experience and with the frequency response of the other and the tonal textures of the other instruments. It was stacked well and sounded like a professional commercial product, a track that could go on the radio or anywhere. I think this is definitely ready for release. I know it's a bit late saying that when it's already been put out to the major distributors, but you know, it still stands. And the production, you know, like, you know, from a theory perspective, I think that that vocal, the vocal chops, they sound like they were crying out. You had a nice third part of each run where like bam, 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 where it got peppy and a little more energetic to keep things fresh before you went into the next loop. So the musical theme was sensational and well considered as well, nice and bright, without being too sad, but you could tell there was some mourning going on, you know, there was some sadness there. But yeah, the production and general recording, mixing, mastering was where it needed to be. I don't think you really could have improved on it. I don't think there would have been any need to improve on it. ItsChase is in a position where I thoroughly understand why they're getting attention. Like, again, 15k plays is good, and I wish them the best of luck in future. Nice and loud without pumping, nice stereo padding of instruments. Wasn't too overwhelming for the listener, and yeah, keep me entertained throughout. And in a way, I wasn't super happy listening to it, but I was engaged, I suppose, and I cared about it. And that's important nowadays. You really got to care about the music that you're listening to, otherwise what's the point? This is my review, though, of ItsChase's Still I Rise. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show ItsChase some love via his various social medias and our Spotify page. Stay cool and stay safe. Remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.